Okay, so firstly, I mean, I think most people are on LinkedIn and are doing a pretty good job, and you know, on social media, you've got some sort of header, and I hope that you have. But certainly on LinkedIn, it's a really common place to have like that default thing that looks like this. And this was a really funny example that I found a little while ago, where this person's got absolutely nothing. Like, why would you sort of want to connect with this person? And with your headers, there's so much you can use it. You know, it's part of your I guess it can act a bit as like a bit of a billboard for yourself and your business. And so to ignore it seems a real waste of, I guess, retail space in a way. So in terms of what to put on your header, so we've got a few examples here, but you know, with your headers, there's some really great things that you can use. And I'm not suggesting that you put all of these things on your headers, because then it would be like a bit crazy. But you might want to have something like your website address if you're wanting to encourage people to go and visit your website. Definitely having some sort of call to action, you know, like maybe join your group and things like that is useful to have. Some people like to put their telephone number if you're wanting to be contacted via your mobile, or if you've got a landline, or you prefer to be contacted by email, you know, make sure that it's on there, it's visible, people can see it really easily. Something else you can do is have like a list of services. This example for White Star here, there's probably maybe a little bit too many there. Think about how many you know, for those that have got a short attention span, which is kind of all of us at the moment, that you probably don't want to put much more than, say, 3 kind of examples of things that you do, or products or services. But if you are going to sort of list a lot more like we've got here, make sure that the most important ones are sort of at the top of your list, so that if people sort of lose focus and go sort of off, they've read the most important ones. You can of course have like images of your products. So like this one here is sort of candy floss hair. This is just one of the templates on Canva, and you can see that it very clearly shows what this person does, and look, you know, it's really eye-catching. And another thing that you can do is you can have seasonal imagery. So like if you want to update, you know, like at Christmas time, I had sort of some little snowflakes on some of my designs. I've swapped out some of the images online for sort of more of my like wintry type headshots from professional photo shoots. And you can also have, we've got this Black Friday deal here. So, you know, if you've got some sort of special offer or event and things like that, you know, you could put a bit of information. You know, you're not putting the whole invite on there or all the details, but, you know, why not showcase that particular thing that's going on? So here's some examples of a couple of sort of templates. These are Canva ones. This one here is a Twitter one, but I thought it works quite well on, you know, you could have it on your LinkedIn and use it kind of multi-purpose. It's got the logo, website, and it's got sort of a fairly simple corporate image there. So, you know, it does the job. You know, it's, you know, it's better than nothing for some, and I think it, you know, there are some merits to this particular one. So you can also introduce video in terms of where you could put a header which has got video. To my knowledge, the only one that you can is Facebook pages. So Laura Ann, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the only place that I know of right now that you could have a video in your cover, and it just sort of makes it a bit different. You know, this is, you know, it's quite effective and makes it a bit more different. So something else to consider with your headers is making sure that it works on both your desktop versus your mobile. So here we've got LinkedIn, and you can see where my profile image is on the computer versus yes, my brain's just sort of had like a little brain fart, like but if you look proportionally at how much the profile picture is covering on the mobile versus on your desktop view, there's quite a big difference. So if you put something really important over here, when someone goes onto your profile on LinkedIn, that's going to be blocked. So when it comes to LinkedIn, I would recommend that you keep your important stuff, if you're going to pop your logo, on this side, so that it doesn't get covered and hidden. So this is an example with a Facebook page. So you can see here, so on the handout that I uploaded, I've got all these sort of kind of pinky areas, and those are bits that will crop off in different views. So you can kind of use that as a bit of a guide, whether you're using Canva or something else to create your headers. Hopefully it will give you a good guide of considering what gets cropped off. It can be a bit of a minefield at times. It's a bit of a pain, but it is worth getting it right, because it's annoying. Again, if you sort of spend the time, or if you use someone else to put something together and they've not considered the areas that are going to get cropped off in the different views, you're going to have a bit of an issue here. So this is where sort of looking at, in terms of this particular template, how I set this up, the kind of mobile size is the full width of that, which you can see here. But when you go into the desktop view, this area top and bottom gets cropped off. So if you had anything really important below that line, that's going to get lost when you're on a desktop view. So just make sure that you consider that. And then sort of finally, just really considering what your social media looks like as a whole. So in terms of, this example with mine, I've not got them all cookie cutter the same. There are certainly some key things that like colors and fonts that are consistent across. But I have looked at sort of what the different uses are. So for example, on LinkedIn, I've got the White Star logo there, because I work with Paul Drake. And so if I'm networking possibly as White Star, it's not going to be a shock if they go and want to connect with me on LinkedIn, versus sort of all the other places where, I'm promoting Lovely Evolution. Some of them I've got the logo on the graphic there because I've used my face as the profile, but where it's like a company page, here we've got the Facebook one, which we were just looking at, and the LinkedIn cover page. I've not included the logo on the header itself because it's already in the profile. So just sort of considering all these different things. I have also updated my personal profile on Facebook, because I just think it's more important. The lines are blurred with Facebook, so I chose to have something that was sort of a real mix. I tried to get across the different aspects of my life, that I didn't want it to be completely about Lovely Evolution or just completely about kind of like one thing. I wanted to get across sort of like family and sort of different things going on. And I have made a point with Facebook. What's quite useful is that when you click on the image itself, you can add like a caption. So I've used that to sort of add like any important links and a bit of more information, so people can click on any of these headers and then they'll get some more information. And it's been really useful where if someone kind of wants to connect with me, or is like does a little bit of internet stalking, they can very clearly see what I'm about. I've got it there of like how they can find me, and it kind of makes life easier if they're wanting to connect. Why would you hide your business details? You want that to be easy to find. In terms of when you kind of start updating these things, so certainly sort of I would recommend taking some time to take some screen grabs of your different sort of social media. Consider like where you are, because there will be some social media places that you are more comfortable hanging out, and as a result are probably more likely to have updated your header, and because you see it and you're like, oh, I'll update that. But what about sort of one of the other platforms that you're not as active on? And consider, taking these screen grabs. You could pop them in a PowerPoint or something, but look at them as a whole, like we've got here, and then you can very quickly see where there's maybe something's got an old logo, or you don't do that service anymore. We've had some massive changes, as we all know, and lots of people have pivoted, or they've had to change things, and if your headers are sort of out of date, it can really create mixed messages there, because just because you might be like, oh, well, LinkedIn's like where I hang out, that's my favorite place. But if people want to like or follow your page or connect with you on Facebook as well, or Twitter, for example, and that's out of date, they're going to be confused. And if they're confused, they're less likely to sort of buy from you or refer you and all of that. So yeah, making sure that your headers look consistent. You can do it in a kind of more cookie cutter approach of kind of having the same sort of design and having it more just resizing it and sort of fitting the different setups of the individual platforms, or you can kind of take it a case by case, because you have also got the difference between how you might show up on Facebook versus LinkedIn, which is sort of more professional. You might want to have a different sort of slightly different feel, like you might want to have a more softer or friendlier point of view on Facebook. Certainly in the past, it's been like that more traditional separation. Whereas I think these days, LinkedIn has kind of moving more towards that, has gone, I guess, softer. It's a bit more friendly. There are sort of more things that they're trying to sort of stay up to date with something like Facebook. So it's up to you. You've got to really decide yourself what's going to appeal to your target market, what's going to really say what you do, and really get to that point.